Appropriate for Tulum. Looking hipster. You ready for your forced vegetarian vegan tour? I guess we'll allow you an egg on top.
Oh, did that screw it all up?
Well, now you're vegetarian, not vegan.
Okay.
So, you ready for the big question? What's the difference between vegetarian and vegan, Dad?
An egg on top.
There's this fine line in places that are cool. It's way too early to make some sort of judgment about that here. But it does feel a little bit like a place you come to get the best Instagram photo possible. And that's the point. But that's not the point, is it? To live in an Instagram moment, which is kind of ironic because when we first went to this vegan restaurant near where we're staying, all the plates said be here now, and all of these, I've seen all these affirmative statements, which... Okay, Pop. How was that experience?
Good.
It's like a neighborhood in New York where the artists move in, the cool people move in, the interesting people move in, the philosophers and the thinkers move in, and of course, people follow, as is natural. But when that happens, then it becomes a place that everyone wants to go to say they went there, instead of just being there. And perhaps it's hypocritical of me to say something like that now, as I walk down the street talking to a camera. But I don't want to prejudge. I'm going to keep my mind open. And perhaps I'm just bummed because Chichen Itza and all of the things are closed. But the reason we came to this area on this vegan journey is to go to a place called Raw Love, which is closed indefinitely due to COVID.
It was a weird time to be there, but that wasn't just because of COVID. On the surface, Tulum is a mindful paradise with thoughtful statements everywhere. It was truly remarkable in that respect. I came to Tulum because it's well known in travel circles for being the place along Mayan Riviera, which includes Cancun, Cozumel, Playa del Carmen, and a bazillion resorts. Being a lover of Mexican cuisine, I was just stoked to dive into the vegan scene that is plentiful in this hipster haven known as Tulum. Originally a port city and spiritual destination for the Maya, as celebrated here with this Mayan calendar installation at the city center, Tulum is divided into three basic parts. This is the area you might call downtown, and it's nowhere close to the beach. As I strolled the plaza, I came across a young couple protesting. They told me a story about being detained indefinitely and even tortured by the local police for simply trying to file a complaint based upon a traffic incident. Seems crazy, but you can't deny that there's tension in the air. Back on the surface, we walked the busy, buzzing streets looking for gifts and souvenirs like the tourists we were. Shop after shop, cafe after cafe, we strolled 10 blocks or so. It was an eclectic scene, Latinos and gringos, Europeans and Aussies. As for those Mexicanos...
Gotta wear your mask, man.
True to form, they were fun-loving and welcoming. The original name of Tulum was Zama, which means sunrise in the Yucatán Mayan language. If I may, it represents the celestial spiritual energy they found facing the rising sun. The word Tulum makes a different statement, and it's credited to 19th century explorers. Though keeping with the local language, Tulum means a barrier of some sort. They saw the Mayan ruins as some sort of impenetrable fortress. But since then, there has been a balancing act between locals and travelers. My dad participated in this quite literally, buying a handmade swing, see? But really, the boom of Tulum didn't start to the 1970s when wealthy would-be hippies showed up in their mystery machines bringing delicious things like vegan food.
Is it okay with you, Pop? Yeah? Good?
I don't know which one this is, but it's good.
And everybody, hey, Breezy! She's back.
Breezy is a friend from other travels that just happened to be in Tulum at the same time. It makes sense. Bohos like us have been flocking to this place for several decades. Later that night, I had one of my Spanish favorites, paella, the vegan version. One thing that can't be underestimated is the amount of delicious food, whether it be modern vegan fare or more traditional meat and dairy favorites. Tulum gets a 10 in this category. We stayed here, just outside of downtown Tulum at one of the many opulent accommodations. It's that familiar experience of walking off of a disheveled street and into lifestyles of the rich and famous. Yet another example of that contrasting paradigm that faces Tulum.
Gotta go back to the car and get my mask.
Our goal for yet another hot and sunny day in Tulum was to check out the cenotes. But first, it's this little grocery for breakfast. Again, delicious. Complete with local brews for me and Portia and an egg on top for my dad. And here we are, the Grand Cenote. This area has the largest underground river system in the world, and these access points are called cenotes. They're everywhere. Teeming with life, these are perfect for cooling off and enjoying natural Tulum. But the dark undercurrent flows here too. As massive development happened over the last 50 years, there was little concern for the environmental impact. Money was king. Due to this disregard, waste was not properly dealt with. It was just simply pushed aside and out of view. Over time, this contaminated 80% of the water with joyous things like human feces. Gross. Fortunately, there have been recent efforts to reverse the process. For the unawares, it was just great. Turtles, bats, birds, and little guys like this. What is he doing?
Oh, hello there, little birdie.
The second part of the city is down the road and to the beach, a little 5-mile stretch that's known for world-class nightlife. Or as one report put it, the next stop after Ibiza on the global DJ circuit. That wasn't a compliment, though. For better or worse, it's true. Driving down the strip is gorgeous. More high-minded quotes with chic resorts and party bars on pristine beaches. Well, mostly pristine. We'll get to that in a minute. There was plenty of quality graffiti and beach babes in bikinis were everywhere you turn. In the evening, the low lights and general aesthetic were second to none. I wasn't there for the party, but I'm sure it was lit too. I mean, what's not to like? And then you dive under the surface and you can't just kick aside things like seaweed all over otherwise perfect beaches. It may work for your Instagram photo, but not for the long-term future of Tulum. And I wonder, is this yet another example of environmentalism being crushed under the weight of capitalism? Deep breath. We gotta keep the faith, maybe a little mezcal cocktail, the food is banging, the winds of change still blow, and there's always reason for hope. The third part of the city, Paradise. It's the reason the Mayans built their temples here and why travelers and investors alike have jumped all over the bandwagon. Due to COVID, we couldn't visit the ruins, but we jumped on a boat to check them out from the water. It's unclear how old they are, but this brings up an important lesson. There's always a bright side. With no visitors to the ruins, archaeologists have had unprecedented access to further explore the sites. Just this year, they found a skull that dates back nearly 10,000 years. Next, we went sea exploring, and I learned of yet another silver lining. Our guide Carlos here told me that though the seaweed has made the beaches less desirable, it has become an important food source for animals, particularly bringing the sea turtles back to Tulum's shores. Though I didn't see one of those, I did find plenty of fun things under the sea. Right. There's this fourth part of the city, and that which we often sweep under the wannabe influencer rug, the slums. Between downtown and the beach is a fenced-off section of land where the cute girls on bicycles are told not to go. It's where those who take your parking money or serve you the ice cream live. Oh, well, back to Paradise, right? I mean, I won't pretend I'm not one of those bohos lapping up the luxury and snapping petty, pretty photos for others to gawk at. I am. I just wonder, how long can we keep this up?
Got an assortment of bowls here with things inside them that I'm putting on a tortilla. I'm not exactly sure what I'm getting into, but here we go.